Hey everybody, so today showing you this cool diesel heater install hack that you can probably do with most RVs, because I'll show you why. Because due to the through port, it makes install super easy. Okay, so normal with your diesel heater outside, this is just basically going right up here to where this is a through port. And so this actually fits perfect right on the bottom of that. You do have to give it kind of a little shove on there. All right. Now these RV cable ports, you will have to modify them just a little bit. So the RV port will look like this, but it will have these little fingers in it that kind of traps the cable. So what you'll have to do is cut that out, and then you buy these heater tube extensions. And so after you cut off the little fingers that are on the inside, and this was the first one I did, so it didn't come out as nice, but you get the cable or the heater tube extension, which I'll have a link for this as well, and then you just slide it in, and then that's what that seal tape is for. The tape goes around this to hold it in place, and now the heater tube will just slip onto here and on the inside as well. Okay, so now when we go in here, that's the through port, and a lot of RVs already have this, because this is where you're going to run your cables through, maybe a water line or a cable line. This one here is meant for the cable, which you can see right there. And so then what I did is I added another through port right there, as you can see. And so what you will have to do is buy another one of these tubes, because when you buy a diesel heater, they only come with one. So I'll have links for this stuff too. That way, if you guys want to do this or whatever, it'll all be available. But the through ports, these are all pretty standard. I'll have that listed down below as well. And you can use, these types of hoses. A lot of people will use these, but what happens is that they kink real easy. And that's one of the reasons diesel heaters will start to overheat and then throw a code, is because if the bends are too much, then it ends up being to where they overheat. They can't pump out the heat fast enough. And so then these cause sometimes some problems. Unless you keep them relatively straight, then you're okay. But if they sag, you see how they're not rigid, versus these are kind of a semi-rigid, and these are just really flexible. So depending on your application, you could use that. But for what I did, I couldn't. Okay, now I'll show you what I did here. So if we pop this guy off here, this just slides right in there. And I've even checked this for leaks, and it actually does, surprisingly, a really good job. This is so simple and just so easy. It's almost kind of like it was almost meant to be. But I'm not going to pull on this too hard, because then I may have to kind of redo this. But as you can see, this is where I have another tube. Trying to get that in there for you. The tube there is running to the bottom of my steps, and I do have this under like a decent amount of tension. So, well, okay, it came off, so I'll just have to push it back on. But you just pull on this and stretch it out, and then as you put this door back on, it'll basically just compress that hose. And then as you can see in there, it goes all the way in, and I'll show you what that looks like. And here's where it looks like as it comes in through the floor. Now these are my stairs, and basically what's happening here is that the air will just basically blow up this, almost like a vent. It'll shoot it up. And I don't have it as close to the door, because I didn't want it kind of getting sucked out the door every time you opened it. At least this is a little bit closer. And I did seal off both of these, as you can see right there, and that one right there, because all that did was let a lot of cold air in. And when your air conditioner runs, it lets a lot of cold air out. It just basically blows into the storage compartment down there, and that is it. And it just doesn't do anything. So if you think these are returns for your heater, well, they don't do anything at all, because it gets plenty of air into your return, plus there's an air inlet on the outside anyway. So these really should just be sealed off. They don't do anything, so except making your RV much less efficient. And of course, when you're done with this, you just pull these out, you close them up. And I'll even give you the drill size for this thing here. You'll need a hole saw for that if you want to make it an easier cut. But this here also just comes up after you give it a pull, and that's what that looks like down there. Of close up like a normal through port, and boom. And I end up powering the diesel heater off of my EcoFlow Delta Pro here on a power station, so it makes it real easy. This whole setup right here powers up the whole trailer, but obviously these are way more efficient than running your propane furnace and everything, so that's one nice reason about having those. So as far as the install hack goes, that part is super easy, and it probably should work for most trailers. It just depends on where you need to put it into. It doesn't have to go there. On my other trailer, it was a little bit different. I would have put it in more towards the back, actually, because it had better access. But if you guys want to see how well it works inside an RV this size, stick around for a few more minutes, and we'll go over a few more pieces about the diesel heater and some other information. So this is a 5K unit, and it has a 1.3 gallon tank filled with diesel. I didn't get kerosene or anything like that, and I've heard a lot of people having problems when they use, you know, waste oil and everything else. It's just better to probably stick with diesel or clean kerosene or something like that. You can use those as well. 1.3 gallon tank should last 24 hours on, that's the low setting. And I think as long as 12 hours on its absolute highest setting, which I will be using this more in the medium high, so I'm looking at 14-15 hours. So I'll fill it up, you know, probably before I kind of go to bed, and then we'll come back out and see what it looks like in the morning. Now, as far as how this thing is going to heat this, you got to remember this is a huge trailer on a 5K, so there are a couple little things you have to do, and it is going to be really cold out tonight. It's about maybe 52 right now with the wind and everything, and inside the trailer right now I believe it's 55, and I have a few thermometers I have in there, so I'll show you that as well. And you can see the exhaust there just kind of hanging up on that guy there, so it just kind of doesn't fall onto the ground, even though it's a pretty rigid pipe. But when using these, sometimes you have to use your propane heater to kind of help it out, because if your trailer is frozen inside, especially this big, it's going to take a while for that to heat up this. So if you kick on your propane heater and that at the same time get everything kind of to an ambient temperature, then this is what can maintain it all night, and you don't have to use all your propane up, and you just use, I mean, you're sipping on diesel. I mean, I'm going to burn, what, a gallon maybe. So I'll run inside and I'll kind of show you guys what this looks like on how I have it set up and what I use to help circulate the air and everything. So if we go in the trailer, we'll get kind of a starting temperature. Now, one thing is that when this is here, it will make its way up to this little thermometer pickup, and it will throw off the temperature that's going to be on the J-Command app and everything. So if you were to program that and saying using your furnace, it's actually going to not be quite right, because this area kind of gets warm since that's right there and it kind of blows up, and so it will be a little bit of a false reading. So I have other thermometers like this guy over here. As you can see, we're about 58 degrees, so we're doing pretty good in here, although the little guy isn't happy with the drier humidity. So, and I did put one back here, and we are right about 59 degrees back here, so not too bad. So we're starting off at least warm today, so that's good, because it is not warm outside. And in the bathroom, right at 60 degrees, so not too bad. And as we come into the bedroom, I have another one right here, 59.5. And again, the little guy isn't too happy because it is kind of relatively dry. So, okay, well, with the sun going down, it's kind of time to start getting ready for the evening. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up a little bit more. It's about probably 80%. I'm going to go ahead and top it now. And if you don't happen to have one of these types of gas cans, these things really are good. This one is from Shurcan, and this is actually an updated model that they have. So they have ones for diesel, water, and also gas. And these are about $60, but they're really great. Go ahead and put this back up. If you haven't seen these before, these things have a new spout on the back as well, but so like pressure relief, and these really are great. I'll have a link if you guys want to check them out, but other than that, I've been using these now for quite a while, and I'm definitely impressed with them. Okay, and one of the best ways to keep your trailer warm is to get it going, you know, while the trailer is still warm. It'll help. So I'm just going to use the remote. And now this guy's going to start firing up, and then we'll get some heat going on in there. Well, it's still a little bit warm in the trailer because the temperatures are dropping quick. Definitely cold out today. It's probably upper 40s now. It'll be in the low 40s here in no time, with about a low of 30 degrees, maybe 29 tonight. And I always find this odd that the voltage is kind of low, because I check it all the way to the input and I get about 12 flat right there. But right here it's always a little bit low. I don't know why on the screen, but it works. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it up a little bit too. Get that thing going. And the wind's actually changed direction on me, because now this is actually facing the wrong way. So I'm gonna give this just a little kick so I don't get you know, a little bit of the exhaust fumes going in through the intake. So I'll just turn it. All right, now that the wind is blowing this way, won't kind of get any of the intake in there. And I'm pretty careful when it comes to running stuff like this, because I never trust this stuff. So I always use, you know, pins like this, CO2 detectors inside, or CO detectors, sorry. But if you've never seen one of these pins are great for an RV because they will pick up propane leaks as well. And I've used these in other videos, and these things are only like 25 bucks. This is really something you should have, and it'll either pick up these exhaust fumes on here as well. So let me get that in there, and you can see, you can, there we go, since it's downwind, but you can see there. So I also take this inside with me as well and check periodically to make sure that the diesel heater actually isn't leaking, because I resealed a couple of these before, and because they were getting a little bit of that diesel smell in there. So, and another thing too is that this radiates heat into this section in here and into the section on the other side. It's not much, but it'll take a little bit. Like right now, I can feel some warmth on here. That's about it. You'll still want to run your propane heater if you get into those really cold temperatures. Like tonight is going to be 30, so I may kick it on around 3 or 4 in the morning. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on the temperatures, but close this up and head inside. And again, this is another reason why I use this sniffer, is because if you have a diesel leak, when those little engines are not sealed, you will get a little bit of the vapor or burn into your heat that comes out of the vent. So I like using this once in a while just to double check that I'm not getting any of that, because it'll give you a headache and it smells bad. So that's why these stupid things and having your regular monitors they're just worth it. Okay, and right now it says 67 in here, but that's actually not right, because now that this has been running for a couple minutes, the hot air comes right up here and it just kind of warms this. So I'll show you what the other ones are. Now, because it is a fifth wheel and you have a lot of room in here, all the hot air gets trapped up at the top, right? So you need something to circulate it, and I don't have any fans. So I ended up just buying a couple of these, and they're really great. I mean, these things here, they have, you know, little night light, and they oscillate back and forth, and they have a huge battery. These things last for hours. I have it on, this is like low. I don't even know if you can hear that, but it's silent. It doesn't hardly make any noise. That's on the lowest setting, and here, I'll turn it up, but here's that's all the way up. See if you can hear this. The diesel heater is actually louder, and it kind of rotates away from me, but has a little remote too. These are those Venti fans. If you haven't seen them in like social media and whatnot, I decided to grab a couple, and the darn things are great. And these batteries last a long time. They will take a while to charge because they are so big. I think it'll take like 9 hours to charge it. And you can even use it as a power pack too. So if you want to plug in, you know, your phones or smart devices, you know, you can. And plus, look at that, it's even got a light that gets 3 brightnesses and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Okay, it has been 3.5 hours since I turned on the diesel heater, and check this out. We were doing great so far. Now, I had this thing pumping like almost on high. But I am going to be turning it down now, and I'm also going to be closing off this room, because since nobody is in here, there is no reason to have this door open and trying to heat this space. So I'm actually going to close this off, and that'll help maintain some of the heat into the main part of the trailer. Just for another quick look in the bathroom right here. Now, since we are up higher, it definitely blows the heat in here. So since this is going to be the main sleeping area, and I moved the one that was over here because due to the fact that this window is letting in a decent draft. You know, pretty much like any trailer, they're all sealed really poorly. So, you know, you get the drafts around the windows quite a bit. And this one's a little bit lower up against this wall, but 62.5 right here, which that's plenty fine for sleeping. Anything above 58, I'm pretty happy with. So another thing I'll do as well is now I'll take the fan and aim it directly towards the bedroom. I mean, I'll even be able to turn that down now because it's going to pump so much hot air in there, it's probably going to get hot. So right now I'm right about medium on the diesel heater, so I'll probably turn it on medium low. Not low, but just medium low. But we are going to go outside and also check the fuel level real quick, and then that should get us through the night, and then we'll check and see what it looks like in the morning. Okay, so running about 3.5 hours, and I was pretty much 95% topped off, and look at that, we are still, what is that, about 70% full. So far so good. I'm going to top it off anyway and put it pretty much to 100% just in case overnight, but I don't think we'll need it. And here's what the power draw looks like while it's on no medium or medium low, and you can also see the refrigerator still on, but I will be shutting that off overnight just to save a little bit of power. Alright, so made it to morning and just had breakfast. It's almost 8:30, so we'll take a look and see how we did. And a quick look at our table temperature, right at 54 degrees. And I did have the heater set on medium low. Let's take a look at the one that's back behind here and see how cold this room got. Oh yeah, look at that, 42 degrees. Definitely chilly in here, although the little guy is happy. Interesting. I would not be happy at 42. And a quick look in the bathroom. Did pretty good, holding right at 59 degrees all night. And then the one right by the bed, that's about 55.4, but it honestly didn't feel that cold. I think it's more radiating cold air from, you know, probably the walls. And that little Vente fan just kept on running all night. And you can check the battery level on this thing just by pressing this. It'll give you how many dots, which look at that, still all 3 bars, so doing just fine. All right, let's see if you can see that. See the fluid level there, probably at this rate, maybe another 2 hours. Maybe 3. So let's see, that was about 9:30 last night, and it's about 8:30 now. So 11 hours, maybe 12, 13, 14 hours I'd probably get on that setting. Yeah, so as you can see there, well, medium to just medium high, I guess. Alright guys, overall I think the diesel heater did just fine, so I'm not too worried about that, especially running it on where it was. On a colder night you may kick it up a little bit more, but it's 32 degrees right now, so overall it did a great job. Thanks for sticking around, and hope to see you guys next time.